across western Maryland and West Virginia, and that is still going to be pushing into the area. So here is what we have right now. You see some nice heavy bands of snow setting up around areas such as Charleston and even into western Maryland and portions of the northern area of D.C. We do still see rain over D.C., but north and west of D.C. is where we're anticipating some of the heavier snow totals to take effect. Right now in the district, we've got rain also down towards Fredericksburg and along the eastern shore as well. Leesburg and Frederick have been seeing snow for some time now. These are some of the areas that could easily pick up 3 to 4 inches of snow. I have slightly lowered the snow totals for the immediate D.C. metro area around the city because we are sitting in rain just a little bit longer. That colder air hasn't quite caught up to us just yet. So here's what we need to know. Between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. is when we can expect to see a little bit more snow around the district and around other parts of the region. We could see some really heavy bands at time, and really that's how we're going to get these inches to add up, because we don't have as much time to get the snow, but the heavier bands will certainly make up for that. So any road that's not treated could still become snow covered, and also there'll be some minor shoveling to do. Overall, we're expecting about a trace to 4 inches out of this, with some areas getting slightly more. All right, so a trace to 2 inches really around Charles, St. Mary's, the eastern shore, southern Maryland into Salisbury, trace to 2 inches there because it's going to be mainly rain for you. And then 1 to 3 inches or more around Metro D.C. In the city, I could see anywhere from around 1 to 3 inches as you get toward Leesburg and Gaithersburg. You're 3, perhaps even up to 4 inches in those spots. Culpeper saying 1 to 3 for you. And then in the darker blue around Martinsburg, Cumberland, Hagerstown, these are the areas where we have a winter storm warning. 3 to 5 inches easily there, even more. They could see upwards of 6 inches of snow in those areas. So here's what it's going to look like for the next few hours. This is at about 1:30. We can still see a little bit of rain around D.C. and Point South, some mixing around Gaithersburg and Leesburg and Frederick. These areas do remain cold enough for all snow, and that's where you get some of the higher amounts to add up. This is at about 3 o'clock or so in the afternoon. Still a little bit of mixing over the district with rain to our south and mainly snow along Leesburg, Gaithersburg, Frederick, and the Winchester, Martinsburg, and Hagerstown areas. This is at about 5 o'clock or so in the afternoon. Snow over the district. Most areas are getting snow. Some mixing along southern Maryland down toward the Salisbury area. It's still all rain for you mainly. And then this is at about 7:30 in the evening. At this point, most of the snow has dissipated. You may have one leftover flurry, but it is over. So we don't have a huge window to pick up on the snow, but we'll still see some this afternoon and this evening. Looking at temperatures right now, it's going to be hard to get that snow to stick. We're at 39 still in D.C. What we've seen in the modeling is that the colder air is lagging behind. It's not coming in quite as fast. You want that cold air to be here to take advantage of this disturbance, but we're still sitting in the upper 30s, nearly 40 degrees in D.C. The temperatures still haven't dropped. We are at 35 in Darnestown and 34 in Leesburg. We got 37 in Fairfax and around 37 in Gaithersburg. These folks are our high temperatures from today. Once that colder air comes in, there's no slowing it down. We're going to see temperatures continue to drop. We do remain under a winter weather advisory around the D.C. area. You can see all these areas in purple are included. It includes Prince George's County, the southern edge of Montgomery County, Fairfax, Warrenton, Culpeper, all included in this advisory. Now, north and west, where I showed you where we have the potential for the higher snow amounts, that's going to include Frederick, Winchester, the western edge of Loudoun County. All these areas are under a winter storm warning. Some of these areas here could get up to 6 inches of snow, especially if you get one of those heavier bands that can put down a lot of snow in a short amount of time. So that's what we are watching for the next few hours. Here is a look at your hourly forecast today. Again, we're still noticing a few snow showers coming in. 2 o'clock, it's 37 degrees, 35 by 4 p.m., right around 34 by 6 o'clock. Still some light snow falling right there. And then you get to 8 p.m., this is out of here, 32 degrees down to 30 by 10 p.m. and we just keep dropping as that cold air works its way into the area. Inauguration and Martin Luther King Jr. Day forecast, very cold. The Arctic air is here by then. 22 degrees during the swearing in time by noon tomorrow. Very windy out there, and those winds are going to make it feel so much colder. It's going to carry heat away from our bodies and make it feel like it's much colder. So by noon tomorrow, it feels like 7 degrees in D.C., feels like 4 in Leesburg, and feels like 1 degree in Gaithersburg. Fast forward to Monday evening and Monday night. By 7:30 Monday night, it feels like 1 degree in D.C. and it feels like 2 degrees below zero in Leesburg. Feels like 3 degrees below zero in Gaithersburg. Look at Oakland. Frostbite could be a huge problem here if anything is exposed. exposed, it will feel like 20 degrees below zero in western Maryland. So certainly, definitely weather that you want to take seriously when it comes to this type of extreme cold. Illnesses such as hypothermia, frostbite can set in with these types of wind chills, especially out in areas like western Maryland. A quick look at the 7-day forecast shows temperatures in the upper 30s today, 24 tomorrow, 20 on Tuesday. A slight chance for some snow Tuesday night, especially south of the district. 19 degrees Wednesday, right around 33 Thursday, and 39 Friday. We're back up to about 40 Saturday if you're not a fan of the extreme cold. Once again, here is a look at how much snow we could see around the region. Slightly lowered the numbers around D.C. I did leave all the other numbers in place. Trace to 2 inches south of the district. This includes Charles, St. Mary's County, Fredericksburg. After 1 o'clock, we'll have a better chance to start seeing what is rain flip over to snow for our areas that are forecast to get snow. If you're hearing the trace to 2 inches, you're not really getting a lot of snow out of this. It's going to be mostly rain for you, and then you'll see that flip. D.C.'s temperatures holding on to the warm air just a little bit longer, so I've lowered you to 1 to 3 inches here, but keep in mind, as those heavier bands come along, they could quickly reduce visibility and quickly drop this 1 to 3 inches in a short amount of time. So do be mindful of that. After 1 o'clock is when we'll have a better chance for seeing a bit more snow come in, and then this should begin to wrap up for us after 6 p.m. So we have a short window to pick up this 1 to 3 inches across the area. Now further north and west in the darker blue, I have Cumberland, Hagerstown. These areas could easily get out 3 to 5 inches. They're colder, they're getting the snow longer, and they could quickly get that. And these are the areas that are under that winter storm warning. Now, looking at the alert criteria, we have issued a weather impact alert for today. And this is actually a long-term weather impact alert that we've issued for today all the way through Wednesday. For the snow today, that could be a nuisance to you getting out and enjoying your plans, especially if those roads do become untreated and snow covered. But we're also keeping that weather impact alert in place for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the extreme cold. Okay, that could be potentially life-threatening for people who don't have shelter. So hypothermia can set in, things like frostbite with the type of wind chills that we will be seeing around the area. Here's a quick look at the 10-day temperature trend. We do eventually thaw out, thankfully, up to 40 by Saturday. We do have to wait to that last week of January, essentially 46 by next week. Could even see some 50s popping up, and I know that that would be very pleasant for those of us who do not enjoy some of this colder air. All right, Miri Marshall here if you're just joining us with a weather impact alert updated forecast for you for this afternoon. Many of you are seeing some rain out there, and even some snow has popped up far north of D.C. We're going to get back to radar here in a moment. If you're just joining us, we do want to recap what we've been talking about in terms of the winter weather heading our way. I know it's been a slow burn, but it's coming. Take a look. Charleston just been getting hammered with some of these heavier bands of snow, and we'll see some of that moving across the district. So while we don't have a lot of time to pick up on the snow, the window that we do get it could be intense for a little bit, and that's why we've got that weather impact alert. We've mainly been seeing rain around the D.C. area. Temperatures have been slow to drop. There has been a lag with that Arctic air coming in, and so that's going to cut back on the time that we could see the snow. We'll still see some around the district, but we won't have as much time with it. Originally, we were forecasting that snow to start somewhere around 11 a.m. or so. Now we're thinking more toward the 1, 2 o'clock hour, so you don't have as big of a window, but we will still see some falling around the area. We've got some rain around D.C. right now, south of Warrenton, some rain, dry along La Plata and Leonardtown. The snow is around the Frederick area. Winchester and Leesburg has been consistently picking up on some snow around the area with temperatures just above freezing. Some of this is maybe melting as it hits the ground, but they still see it falling there. So here's what you need to know about today's snow. Our best window to pick up on accumulating snow is going to be between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. It's not a big window, but during that window, as I mentioned, there could be some periods of heavy snow. So that means you just get a little bit in a short amount of time, though. So it could be intense for a little bit. If you're driving out and you get under one of those heavier bands of snow that pops up, could reduce your visibility. And roads that are not treated could become slick, and there will be a little bit of shoveling to do. I'm not expecting obviously huge amounts out of this, but still you may have to brush it out. So here's my updated snow map. I worked on it this morning, just looking at the trends with the temperatures staying a little bit warmer than anticipated. So we're keeping our trace to 2 inches around the Waldorf, the Frederick Fredericksburg area into southern Maryland. This is mostly going to be a rain event for you. We're going 1 to 3 in D.C. Look for higher amounts around the Leesburg area where you could eke out that 4 inches or so. Same around Gaithersburg. Frederick is in the higher category with 3 to 5 inches possible there with some of the heavier snow that could come into those areas. So we are looking at a winter storm warning for the areas that you just saw in blue up there that could see the higher amount. So here are the spots: Martinsburg, Cumberland, Oakland, Hagerstown, Frederick, Winchester. These are the areas that will pick up the higher amounts. This is at about 1:30 or so. So about roughly 2 hours from now, you'll still see some more rain, but eventually some more snow mixing in near the district. This is at about 3 o'clock or so in the afternoon. Still potentially some mixing around D.C. and some rain south of that around south of Andrews and around Fredericksburg. But Leesburg and Gaithersburg, you're all snow and you're getting colder, so that snow will begin to stick a bit easier for you. Hagerstown, Martinsburg, Winchester, all snow there. This is at about 4:30, 5 o'clock or so in the afternoon. We can see snow over the district, over Prince George's, Gaithersburg, Martinsburg, Leesburg, Manassas, and Fairfax, and then still some mixing along Easton and Andrews. Still all rain for southern Maryland around the Salisbury area. You will eke out just a few snow drops later in the evening, but this is not going to be a huge snow event for you. And this is at about 7:30. So if you're wondering about your evening plans, by then the snow will be wrapping up. You may get one stray flurry lingering around, but after that, this begins to move out of here. So bottom line, are we getting snow? Yes. Are we getting as much in the city? Maybe not as much in the city, but only slightly less. We're still going to see some here. And everywhere south of D.C., it will be mainly rain for you. These temperatures have not budged very much. I've been watching them for a long time, since about, I'd say about, 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. And they have not moved very much. We've been sitting there at about 39 degrees for hours now. 36 still in Silver Spring. Going to be hard to get the snow stick with those temperatures above freezing, and that's what we're dealing with. The Arctic air has slowed down. It didn't come in quite as fast as we were trying to get it to come in to get the snow going. You want cold air, but you also want some moisture in. We got some moisture, but we're starting to lack the cold air. You kind of need both of them if you want to get snow around here. All right, so here's where we still have a winter weather advisory, usually issued for less than 5 inches of snow. We're not anticipating anything over 5 inches, obviously, with what the trend we're seeing now, but it's still in place in D.C. because, as I mentioned, you can see some of those heavier bands when they come down pretty intense. It could cause you not to be able to see as much if you're driving temporarily. So that's why we have that advisory in place, the National Weather Service issuing that. And then, of course, around Hagerstown, Cumberland, and Romney, heavier bands of snow. They're getting snow longer. They'll see higher amounts, so a winter storm warning in effect until 7 p.m. for those areas. The next few hours, we're camping out in the 30s, and then we're dropping. Still in the upper 30s in the noon hour, 37 by 2 o'clock. Some snowflakes possible there, 35 by 4 p.m., right around 34 by 6 p.m., 32 by about 8 o'clock this evening. At that point, the snow is gone. Inauguration Day still shaping up to be one of the coldest in several years, 22 degrees by noon tomorrow as we swear in a new president. Very windy out there tomorrow, and it's going to feel very cold. So thankfully, people who are attending will be indoors and not having to stand out in temperatures that feel like 7 degrees in D.C. It will feel like 4 degrees in Leesburg at noon tomorrow. If you're in Western Maryland at noon, it feels like 18 degrees below zero. Those are dangerous wind chills, right? Those are the type of wind chills, hypothermia, frostbite, especially for areas such as the Oakland area, could potentially set in for people. And then at about 7:30 in the evening, it feels like 1 degree in D.C. and it feels like 2 degrees below zero in the Leesburg area. And we will have those sub-zero wind chills out there Monday evening. That's why we have an extended weather impact alert, because not only are we dealing with snow today, but extreme cold Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. In fact, Wednesday, we may not make it out of the teens. Look at the 7-day forecast. Upper 30s today, 24 tomorrow, 20 on Tuesday. Slight chance for some snow at night on Tuesday. Models have started to back off of this a bit and shifted a little further to our south. So southern Maryland, if you miss out on this round of snow, maybe you get a little dusting Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Does not look like it will amount to much in D.C. right now, but we'll continue to track it. 19 the high on Wednesday. Look at the extended weather impact alert for snow and extreme cold. By Thursday, we barely thaw out at 33 degrees, 39 for your Friday, right around 40 on Saturday. Once again, this is our updated snow map. Updated this at about 10 o'clock. Playing with the numbers here because Temperatures have not cooled off enough, and we've seen mostly rain around D.C., so that will cut back on how much can accumulate because we'll have a smaller window to pick up on that snow. We'll still see a few flakes flying around the district, but just they won't add up quite as much with that snow starting a little bit later. So a trace to 2 inches from Waldorf over to Easton to Salisbury and to the Frederick area, 1 to 3 around D.C. Leesburg, you're on the 3+. You could see 3 to 4 inches there. Same around Gaithersburg, slightly higher amounts there. Warrenton, Culpeper, Luray, 1 to 3 there. Winchester, Martinsburg, Frederick. Here's where you could easily pick up your 3 to 5 inches of snow in these areas. And this is also where we have the winter storm warnings that are in effect. So, Miri Marshall, we've been talking to you all about how much snow you could see and the cold that is heading our way. We've issued this long-term weather impact alert for issues like today with the snow. That could be a nuisance, right? When you're trying to get around and this white stuff is falling from the sky, but also when there's life-threatening weather, right? We know that any snow on the road could make driving a little bit more tricky. The roads are slicker, and with that extreme cold coming our way, that can be dangerous as well to our health. So this is why we've issued this long-term weather impact alert to help keep you and your family safe. On the 10-day temperature trend, if you're looking from a break from the extreme cold, it will loosen its grips at the end of the month. So 40 by next Saturday, mid-40s on that last week of January. Could even eke out a 50-degree day. Boy, won't that be a treat? Feeling like spring around here. So we will eventually get out of this cold weather pattern. Just got to give it a little bit more time. Miri Marshall here with the WSA 9 Weather Impact Forecast.